Hello and welcome to Chengi's World. It is Man Talk Monday. Hey! And we are back, people. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am Chengi and you, my precious one, are my world. So welcome to Chengi's World. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and comment. And for those of you who've been a part of this amazing, crazy, beautiful world, thank you so much for coming back to this video. And so today we're going to be talking about how to handle being a non-priority. Okay, so we live in a world where everybody's busy. Everybody's so busy, we're busy. And I've got a video on this channel about is he busy or is he emotionally unavailable? So you can go and watch that video because I might touch on a little bit of it, but I'm not going to get into it so much. I just want to talk about this issue of being a non-priority. Now, you know, we have to balance between being an understanding person, a reasonable person, and being a non-priority. And often in relationships or when we start dating, and this often happens when a man believes to himself that he has secured you. When a man gets to a point in your relationship, in your courtship, in your dating, or even when he meets you and he feels like this girl is so into me, something inside of him begins to believe that you are not going anywhere no matter what he does. And so he begins to focus on other things that he believes are priority. Now, there's the issues that some men have children and it becomes unreasonable for you to want to compete with the children. So before you know it, the children are always coming first and you're always coming last. And because you want to be in this relationship and you love this man and you want to do your best to show him that you are accommodating, you end up allowing yourself to be backbenched and put on the back seat. And then before you know it, you are trying to accommodate not being a priority in this man's life. It's really interesting to me because what happened to me, and I'll share a story with you, is I was dating this guy once, and at that time, you know, everything was my son first, as every parent should do. Anytime my son wanted me, it was my son first, and he could just bugger off. And anytime he asked for my attention when I'd had a plan with my son, it was like, I've got a plan with my son. You're just going to have to get your head around the fact that if I've promised my son I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and G with him, then you're just going to have to take a back seat. And I remember the way he handled it was so good and so expert, because I think he could see that the way the relationship was playing out was, of course, he didn't have any children. And he could see that the way that the relationship was playing out was such that if he didn't actually have a conversation with me about the way that he was feeling and how he felt in a calm sort of manner, that he was going to end up being relegated to the back bench. And so he sat with me and he said, look, I understand that, your son and that Josh is always going to be your number one priority, that he will always be more important than me, that, you will always have more love and more, he will always be more important and you will always have more love for him. He is always and will continually be a priority to you, and one that will be a priority for the rest of your life. And I'm not trying to compete with that, but I just need you to understand that whilst he will be there and has been there all your life and will be there for the rest of your life, I am an immediate priority. I am here, and we don't know whether it's left, right, or center, but right now I'm an immediate priority for you, and you need to be able to manage the fact that this is a long-term priority and this is an immediate priority, and you need to somehow find a way of managing that. And the way he put it to me was so sober, so loving, so sweet, that I realized to myself that I had to go away and think, okay, I have my long-term ongoing obligations to my son, but the fact that I have allowed another person to come into this setup that we have created, the fact that I have opened myself up to allow another human being into this setup, means that I have to now be okay and be prepared to sometimes let the ongoing priority, will always my priority, always have my heart, always have my loyalty, always have my commitment, that sometimes you can't see mommy right now. Right now, mommy can see you tomorrow, because today, the man that I'm seeing, this is the day that he has free and he has off, and not feel guilty about that. Because I think, especially as single moms, we feel guilty when we just, our child needs us and our man needs us and we choose the man. As long as I realize, as long as he is in safe hands, as long as he's emotionally healthy, if it is just, I just wanted to spend time and go to the park with you, mom, and my man at that time works every hour that God sends and has only that one particular day that he wants and can only spend with me, and until I see him again for another 2 weeks, that is completely okay for me to put my son on hold and spend time with this immediate priority. And so when he did that to me, I realized that I was prepared to make the adjustment to accommodate him, because I wanted to have this relationship. And so flip that round to being in a relationship with a man who has kids, a career that's demanding, and all of these things. What is really important for you to realize is that you are immediate priority. The job is the job. He's had the job before and he will have the job ongoing. You're not here to threaten his livelihood. You're not here to disturb and dismantle his relationship with his children. You're not here to, whether he's a professional athlete or whatever it is, and certain jobs and certain professions place a very, very high demand on the people in them, not only just so that you can get to where you want to get to, but that you can even just hold your position that is not yet established, because there's always somebody after that position. The reality of it is, if that person made room for you to come into their lives and recognize that there was something missing and that they wanted to be in a relationship with you, if this man has opened himself up at any point in his whole entire life to be in a relationship, is because he had assessed that there is a place for you, that there is room for you, that there would have to be some movement on his part to accommodate you. And so if you've reached a point in your relationship where he's shut that door and is not prepared to make that time for you and to make you a priority, to say no to maybe those extra hours at work, or to those things that are movable, to those things that are flexible, that he can say no to say, look, it's not my weekend with the kids. I know that you want to go off and have a good time. This is him having a conversation with his ex. I know that, you want to have a good time, but it's actually not my weekend and I have plans. If every time the ex needs him to have the kids, he feels he must say yes and you must end up in the back burner, or every time the kids need him for football, to come and watch football, and you had plans and you end up on the back burner, the truth of the matter is these kids are going to have football for the rest of the term or whatever, and unless this is a particularly important, it's okay for there to be disappointment on the other side too, so that we make room for the people and the person that we claim to love. And so this is a conversation that that needs to be had with this person, because don't ever let anybody make you believe that it's okay for you to get used to being a non-priority, because the problem is when you accept being a non-priority in the very early stages of a relationship, you first start off on the front bench and then you're relegated to the second, and before you know it, you're the back of the whole auditorium, and there's a whole gap between you and everybody else starts to fill up those spaces, the gardener, this, because people will put off the person who is most understanding. Now, being understanding is important, and that comes through your conversation with the person, is to say, look, explain to me your world. Okay, so if we can't be a regular couple and meet for dinner at 8 o'clock because your job takes you the weirdest hours, I'm quite happy to have, because of the nature of your work or the nature of your obligations, I'm prepared to come to you. I'm prepared to meet you at work. I'm prepared to come for lunch on your lunch break. I'm prepared for you to come to my work on the lunch break. I'm prepared to have a midnight picnic with you because you finish at this time. And, I'd rather see you at crazy hours of the morning than not see you at all, because at the end of the day, we are trying to make this work. But I'm understanding enough to be flexible, but you have to be prepared to make that time and make that room for me too. So it's a negotiation, but do not accept being a non-priority under any circumstances. Don't allow a man to put you off where you don't see him for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks and you're just having telephone conversations, and you just have to be understanding. You just have to understand. You just have to sit there and understand. He's not out there chasing other women. He's not out there playing the fool. You trust that he is doing what he says he's doing, except everything else and everyone else seems to be a priority. At some point, a man has to be able to tell his mom, I can't take you to that place because I'm going to be with my girlfriend. He has to be able to tell his boss, no, I can't keep doing these weekends working. I have a life and I need to honor that life. And you ultimately are the one who determines whether that happens. Just as that guy who said to me, look, I'm an immediate priority. I'm a priority too, and I want to be made a priority, because it's not going to work if every single time I need you are happy to dump me, be done and rid of me before I move forward. And I was forced to have to shift my mind and say, okay, is this person important enough to me? Is this relationship important enough to me for me to be able to make that adjustment? And so that is something that you have to give that other person a chance. Are you important enough to them? Is the relationship that you're building with them important enough for them to make that adjustment? If it's not, then it's time to pack it in and keep it moving. If he cannot see himself creating time and space for you in his world, and going out of his way to make time and space for you, then really you are flogging a dead horse, and you just need to exit that relationship because it's going nowhere. You cannot build something on no time spent together, on no quality and valuable time spent together. It is literally a relationship that is going absolutely nowhere. But if you feel that, if you have this conversation with him and you have this rational conversation with him and he's able to make time for you, then you've got something to work with. But sitting in the back bencher, and I know a lot of us do it because we don't want to be dumped, we don't want to come across as unreasonable, we don't want to come across as if we're fighting with his children or his priorities, as if we're being unreasonable. But actually, that fear of coming across as being unreasonable is really what he is playing on. That is what he's bargaining on, that you won't want to come across as unreasonable. So therefore, he is quite happy to continue to play this game with you. So my advice to you, if you find yourself in a situation where you are not a priority, where you are last to be considered and first to be sacrificed, where dates are constantly being cancelled, plans are constantly being rearranged, oh, I'll make it up to you, I will make it up to you, whatever, and there are no plans to make it up to you, and time is passing and you're increasingly beginning to feel like you're not important in this person's life, chances are you have stopped being important, or this person has started to take you for granted. But either way, have the conversation. Let them know that you will not accept sitting on the back bench and being backbenched eternally, that you have your limits, and that it's time for them to look at their lives as a whole and find a place for you in it, or you will find somebody else who will do that. I know it's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you've already invested, but it is essential and it is important that you're never in a relationship that questions your value or your worth, because that is your currency in the game of love. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to my book. It is coming up soon. I am looking forward to my book launch. I want to invite all of you to come along who are local in London, and I'm hoping to be traveling, and hopefully I'll be in your city and in your town. So make sure you look out for the book. It will absolutely 100% change your life in the dating and relationship arena. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of you. Love you lots. Bye-bye now.